Global energy markets reacting to Israeli strikes on Iran. CNBC's a senior national correspondent. That doesn't, but you know a lot about oil. You go to Austria all the time, in Vienna and OPEC. You join us now. What can you tell us?
Alaska.
Right? Yeah,
Alaska. Yeah, I can tell us that I'm going to take a different tact. Okay, oil is up 8%. It's one of the biggest moves in years.
Okay,
single day moves. We're at 73.51 here, just about $80 Brent crude in Europe. Why aren't we at $100 a barrel? I think the question is not why is oil up. We know that. I think the question that people I'm pinging, why isn't oil up even more?
And it was up 14% last night and then pulled back.
It is, and it's because, A, there's plenty of oil in the world. So the world, if you just go supply-demand, you're well supplied. Citigroup this morning saying we don't expect new longs to come into the market necessarily. That said, if Israel were to hit the oil infrastructure assets of Iran, which they did not, they attacked personnel and a nuclear site. If they hit the oil aspects, specifically something called KARG, K-H-A-R-G, or it's sometimes spelled Kark Island, then you've got probably a $20 super spike in the price of oil. Iran right now at 3.3 million barrels a day. 1.5 million of that is exported. KARG is where they export not all, but about 90% of the oil. So you blow that up. If that were to happen, the price of oil is going to have a super spike. That has not happened.
I've heard of this island before. It's been something they talked about as a potential for strikes in the past on some of these things. Mm-hmm. It's never been hit. Or
yeah, no. So bring that back up because actually that graphic we made that. So there is a roadmap for this. This actually occurred not quite to this level last year. I made this graphic last year when there were more tensions between Iran and Israel.
Yeah.
So kind of showing some potential targets. This was from last year. So you see sort of on the lower right, it says KARG Island. That, if you hear about that in the media, if you hear Israeli missiles hitting KARG Island, then you're going to have that super spike in the price of oil that we talked about. Outside of that, if this somehow de-escalates, there is plenty of oil, and Saudi Arabia is able to add more and has been adding more barrels to the market. If 1.5 million Iranian barrels are taken off, Saudi Arabia probably doesn't need to fill in all of that 1.5, but they could fairly quickly.
They're not friends with Iran, obviously, but they've been, I think they condemned these attacks. For Israel, would they cooperate? Would that make Iran unhappy if they increase production to make up for what we're not getting?
It's an interesting question. I can't speak for the Saudis, obviously, but I will say this. There is at least an open air of dialogue between Iran and Saudi Arabia. Iran, obviously, is an OPEC member. You referenced OPEC. They're in OPEC.
There's definitely an open conversation between the Trump administration and Saudi Arabia.
100%.
And Saudi Arabia,
and I'm sure the headlines across
targeted.
Who knew what will be sort of the next leg of this media story.